Hello and welcome. We've got yet another quarterfinals matchup, possibly the most interesting one right here, as many would have pegged this as a potential finals matchup. Was actually drawn here because Gaignun finished second in his group rather than first, losing an upset series to Shadow Shield, eliminated last night himself. But Gaignun finished second in that group, and as he is the second seed, was going to face the first seed, and he drew Xanxus here for the quarterfinals. Two of my players that I would have pegged as top three for the tournament here. We still get to see them play, even if it's not in the finals, which is very exciting in my opinion. So we're going to be able to see these players take each other on. For those who haven't been following, there's a real avid rivalry between these two. They're probably the two best cartwheelers in the game. It'd be real hard to make an argument for anybody else right now as a better cartwheeler. And they've played each other several times in multiple tournaments. Xanxus beat Gaignun in the first 1v1 tournament. Apparently they were really close games, but it was a 3-0. Beat him the first time in the tag tournament, but most recently Gaignun had a resounding victory 3-1 over Xanxus and Xanxus in the second matchup in the tag tournament versus them. Gaignun now sits at the top of the tag tournament right now in their playoff bracket. And so we've seen these guys butt heads a lot. Fantastic players, very different styles, easily top 5 players of the game, and probably the two best cartwheelers right now. And so it's going to be real interesting to see them go 1v1 with a lot of prep. Because last time it was the first round of the entire 1v1 tournament. Neither one really went in with prep or knowing each other that well. This time both are coming in with prep. Both are hungry for blood. And I think it's going to be real fun to see how this plays out. So let's get this underway. Our bans were Panorama and I believe City. So we're going to be starting on Palace. And it's going to be a real fun series, guys. Hope you're ready. Alright, we see Gaignun sitting on 2 aura, kind of hesitating on what to pick up, possibly in a bad spot. Xanxus seems to have a pretty healthy start, 4 aura. Now up to 5. Looks like Gaignun's going to be in overwrite mode. Maybe he's going to Vicious? Xanxus tries to fake a lightning sword. And fakes with the flash hole. Trying to get Gaignun to show his shield or a cartwheel. Guard of Water out of Gaignun takes the lightning sword. The patience pays off. Gaignun now walks in with the flame sword, looking to get some aggression down on Xanxus while he's on his capsules. We haven't seen yet the shield from Xanxus, but there he goes with the heat. Xanxus looks like he's playing fairly conservative right now to feel Gaignun out. We see the green and yellow in Gaignun's hand. Still not 100% sure what that is. We do see the majority nature on both. Fortress is picked up over the green from Gaignun. Xanxus still... well, looks like he just overwrote the flash hole as I was going to say it. Judge of Ares now out of Xanxus takes the fortress, but Gaignun picks up another shield. 2 shields, in fact. Judge of Ares came at an inopportune time for Xanxus, honestly. Trying to fake out now with the reincarnation. Xanxus has a lot of aura. Gaignun now overriding a few skills of his own. Oh, and he connects with the Armoros Watch. That's going to be rough on Xanxus. Uses another heat. That does bring him back to even, so that was at least fortuitous there that he's able to set himself back to normal. But it's too bad he didn't seem to have his regular stat debuff in order to be able to go back up to +1. So Xanxus likely out of damage buffs for the round, so we're going to see him at standard damage buffs. Manages to cartwheel that first crawlers, which was nice and tight. Reincarnation hit by the flash hole. Isn't a race, though. Gaignun's in a real good spot. Xanxus has no shields against the crawlers. Gaignun has 2 shields, and he does get the ice sword now with the Guard of Water against Xanxus. Xanxus' normal tricks of manual aiming into the ground are not paying off for him. Gaignun beginning to pop now with the diabolical trick. We see the blazing bullet come out of Xanxus. A crawlers could knock that out. And that's gonna, so now he only has to worry about the reincarnation. Oh, well, that's a healing water. So Blazing will be back up. Gaignun actually catches the reincarnation now. If he knocks Xanxus off of Blazing again, which that might be another healing water in hand. If he's able to do it again, then Xanxus is in deep trouble. He still has the flash hole too, which could catch the Blazing Bullet, no problem. We see, it looks like Xanxus has another melee ability that he wants to move in with. Possibly Blazing Sword. Gaignun's still looking to just chip away with that Crawlers. Xanxus now has a shield, breaks his own flash hole on the Crawlers. Reincarnation connects. We do see the last healing water there. Well, he could have a third if he hasn't drawn it yet. But we do see the second healing water. Xanxus looking to fake out that glacial wall. So far unsuccessful. Dodges the reincarnation. Still digging. Gaignun with the diabolical trick holds that advantage. A third attack picked up by Xanxus. It is the flame sword as well as the blazing bullet. Gaignun is still trying to get rid of some of the benches and that is keeping an open firing line away from Xanxus. Xanxus is still trying to kind of manual aim that sword. Gaignun gets the freeze down. He's going to go pop a capsule. Xanxus watches him as he goes. This is getting tense here. Getting real low on capsules. Gaignun has good shields to answer. Has yet to be able to catch that blazing bullet, though. Might go for a pop here. And at this point, whenever he sees the blazing bullet, he's going to have to assume that it's manualed. Xanxus picks up a shield now. Glacial wall. That could really stall Gaignun out. But Gaignun only needs 2 more capsules here to win the game. Blazing Sword comes out, but that's going to allow him to pop at least 1. Nope, he decides not to. Gaignun honestly a little on the back foot now. Oh, that last Blazing Sword connects. Gaignun now at 1 health. It's going to be real tight to see if he's able to actually take the win here. Manual aims, or excuse me, sword cancels there. Xanxus playing this very carefully. Gaignun has to be careful as well. Only at 1 health. 2 capsules down for Xanxus. 1 more hit takes Gaignun down. But if Gaignun is able to freeze Xanxus, that also gives him the opportunity to probably pop both of those last capsules. He should have enough R to do both. If he stands right next to Xanxus, maybe he can catch one of those manual aims from the blazing bullet. It's the blazing sword he really needs to worry about too. Not a whole lot to say here. Sorry, I'm just tense. I'm watching. I'm waiting to see what happens. We know the stakes. We know what they have. We know the win conditions. Looks like a crater of battlefield over here from all the manual aims out of Xanxus. Oh! Gaignun does decide to overwrite something. See if he can pick up something else here. We see a purple out of Xanxus. He could possibly have a diabolical trick of his own. Gaignun not falling for the manual aims. Again, looking to get the freeze. Picks up an attack. Ooh, there we go. That creates him a little room. If he can knock him off of blazing, then Gaignun has the win. Have to see if he can bait out and hit him with another lightning sword. Although at this point, I don't think Xanxus would die from the pop-out. So Gaignun's now playing for the tie. Very tense matchup here. Ice Sword connects! Gaignun's going to move in for the pops, but that's not going to be enough to take Xanxus out. And if he's not careful himself, Xanxus could still... No, he can't. He has blazing. He's not able to attack anymore. So Xanxus, we're going to be racing against the clock here. I'm pretty sure he's not going to bleed out before the clock is done. Gaignun does emerge victorious, but I don't think he'll actually get the W. It's going to be close. I'm not 100% sure on my timing. Usually it's 3 seconds per health point, so he may just barely bleed out, actually. No, yeah. He does have it. At the last second, Gaignun is able to pull out the clutch with the Ice Sword, pop the last 2 capsules, and Xanxus will slowly bleed out for a Game 1 victory to Gaignun, but what a tense game it was. Absolutely fantastic. Might have been a little slow at some points, but you had to be on the edge of your seat watching that. You have to be on the edge of your seat watching that. That was such a tight game. And now we'll be heading to, I believe it is Highway. I'm just going to double check. Yes, we will be headed to Highway. Going to go to Lightning Highway. Have to see what they have planned for each other here. Xanxus got to be hungry after that one there. It's never a good time when you slowly bleed out. I feel like maybe he could have gone for a few less fake outs, especially when Gaignun was at 1 health. If he had just managed to connect 1 at low health, he would have been really good. If he could have caught that glacial wall with the blazing sword, it's possible, like when he wasn't right next to his capsules, it's possible Gaignun couldn't have made it in time to pop his last 2. If he'd stayed nearby. Maybe just tried to eventually not manual the blazing bullet or manual it in a way that Gaignun might actually get hit. 1 hit would have killed him there. So it's a land of what ifs, but what a close match altogether as we move into Highway now. And even with the back button, I get 4 aura. So it's going to take me a little longer to die. Oh, shh. And 3 more aura, no less. Alright. We see Gaignun already frozen. It sounds like he was shooting some Venom Fangs there. We see the heat out of Xanxus. Level amp out of Gaignun. So, yep, that's a Faith Optic, and then we've only seen the nature so far out of Xanxus, Glacial Wall and Heat, as well as the green aura. Ooh, Venom Fang connects, Blaster not quite, and we see Xanxus try to use a Lightning Sword. It looks like he hit the wrong button. Gaignun now frozen, cartwheels to get away from the Lightning Sword. Xanxus takes an extra point of damage for using that Glacial Wall from the Poison Tick. Venom Fang Blaster, been an effective combo so far. Oh, the Flash Hole. Perfect timing on allowing that to come around the corner, but staying away from the Blaster. Gets rid of the Venom Fang. Very slick play by Xanxus as he Flash Holes the Blaster as well now. Will lose his shield to that one, but he gets 2 attacks instead of just 1. And Takes a little bit more tag damage from the rapid cannon there, but Gaignun yet to find a trance or anything, so he's not going to be able to break through that flash hole for a minute. Loses his own flash hole to a Crawler's. We now see Xanxus with the Willow. Angel's Wing is Gaignun's second defense. Picks up another one. Xanxus not too thrilled to find out what the second defense is. Likely another flash hole or an eraser. Gaignun likely going to go pretty hard into the erase defenses with an Optic Faith. Xanxus has taken a little bit of damage, but he's in a much better spot capsule-wise and with attacks. And now he's putting the Diabolical Trick down, giving Gaignun a taste of his own medicine from last game. Gaignun is down to 10 capsules and still doesn't have an attack in hand. This is a bad spot to be in. He's already lost 3 attacks. He may have a very defensive arsenal here, and he's going to lose that one probably to that flash hole eventually. Managed to chase Xanxus out at least briefly. Xanxus wants to try and flash hole that without a trance on. Gaignun flash holes and takes the Willow from Xanxus, but also loses his Willow, or excuse me, loses his flash hole afterwards to the Lightning Sword. Let's see, Willow and the Slide Laser now. And Slide Laser is erased. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Without the trance on, could not afford to be shooting that without trance. Vibration Blaster now. Willow Vibration Blaster is a very strong combo. He really ought to trance up unless he just wants to use the Vibration Blaster to break it, which might be the better call. Try and break the flash hole with the Vibration Blaster versus Cartwheelers. You don't have the Will of the Wisp. Gaignun is getting very low on capsules and picking up more as he goes. He's got 3 attacks now, so he does have multiple ways of getting around this flash hole. We'll have to see what Xanxus chooses to do. Gaignun doesn't want to move too far away from his base in respect of that Diabolical Trick. Doesn't want to override anything either just for aura, so for now he's going to go up there. See if he can't get through that flash hole while Xanxus continues to play pretty slow and defensive here. We do see the trance come out this time with the Willow. Ooh, Ice Sword connects, and that hurts. At +2 damage, that hurts a lot. Ooh, that manual does connect. Xanxus now down in health once again. Gaignun continues to manual the Vibration Blaster. Very good at manualing these straight line skills such as Railgun. Can be real scary to play against. Xanxus really doesn't want to have to erase that with a flash hole, but he just might have to. If he does, though, Gaignun's still sitting there on top of him with a Will-o'-the-Wisp that can also be tranced. And we now see the Reincarnation come out, blocked by the flash hole. Gaignun manages to cartwheel the Reincarnation as well as the Ice Sword. Catches him with the next Vibration Blaster, but does lose his Willow to the flash hole. At this point, Xanxus is in a much better spot. If he has to, he can use that flash hole on the Vibration Blaster, and he's still pretty safe. Gaignun still has a Reincarnation as well. It's worth remembering. It's possible that if Gaignun takes the flash hole, he could still get 3 damage down with the Reincarnation. It'd be a little difficult. Xanxus using his own Reincarnation, that does 5 damage though, if it connects. Gaignun definitely cartwheels it at the last moment, just before it connects. Again, this comes down to a tense, low skills. Ice Sword connects. Gaignun's gonna have to play around that now. Gaignun goes back to base, possibly falling off by accident. Throws the reincarnation, but it's not going to make the distance. Gaignun seems to be digging now to see if he can find possibly a shield. Maybe another attack that he has in there. It's hard to say what he's got left. Looks like another attack. See a slide laser come out. That actually might be a twist laser. Not sure what shield Xanxus has. Doesn't seem to be willing to step out. One of those railings pops over. Xanxus could take some damage from that. Looks like Gaignun is going to try and break some of that. Xanxus now going for the pop. Possibly. Waiting for the laser. Oh, that reincarnation definitely cartwheeled. Xanxus does get one of the aura particles there. There's a capsule on the field as well. Oh, Gaignun falls off! And that's going to be game 2 to Xanxus as he tries desperately to manual aim a laser in the air, but it isn't going to work. Xanxus ties up the series 1-1. And that will move us all the way to Refinery. Now, mind you, both of these players have some good records on the back half maps. Gaignun, always very good. He prefers the Refinery through sign portion of the maps. Xanxus, before his last match with Gaignun, I believe, was undefeated on lane. So that's also one of his strong points. Also plays very good on Refinery. But gotta say, this is at least, this is Gaignun's major comfort zone. This is where he wanted to be. So he comes out tied into the back half maps. This is where he wants Xanxus. We'll have to see who's able to take the lead here in game 3. We see a 3 aura start, 2 shields for both. We see a purple out of Gaignun as they both move towards each other, ready to flirt. Gaignun manages to grab that flame sword with an iron skin. Dragon Slayer connects onto Xanxus, takes away a shield. So that's a positive trade for Gaignun. Uses a Dragon Slayer to get a shield. We don't know what one he took. But he also gets an attack with his own iron skin, which he still has. So positive capsule trade for Gaignun. Xanxus a little neutered for the moment, but we do see Gaignun a little aura screwed. He's having to start overriding. That green is now turbulenced away from him as well. So that brings them back to even. Being aura screwed and losing the green puts them back on an even keel, though Gaignun has more capsules remaining, but he doesn't have much aura. Xanxus uses a heat. He's moving back in. Looks like he's got the swords once again. Gonna have to try and figure out how to get around that iron skin or just break it with a shield. Aura backflow doesn't connect. We now see the fortress out of Xanxus. And he loses the aura backflow to that. Not sure why he decided to do that. Oh, the patience pays off. Gaignun panics and uses the iron skin versus the crawlers instead of the reverse, which he does have in his hand. As we see now, he uses it the second time. Neutralization takes away Xanxus' heat. Probably going to see Gaignun drop that. Misses with the Dragon Slayer. Ice Sword does connect. I didn't get to see what happened to that reversed crawler. Xanxus must have cartwheeled past it. That one might connect onto Gaignun, and it wraps around, and it does. Xanxus putting the crawlers to good effect here on Refinery, despite Gaignun's 3 shields. He's managed to land solid damage with the crawlers and the Ice Sword. Gaignun's getting pretty low on capsules. now has 2 attacks in hand. We're going to have to see how he decides to answer back. Flash Hole does eat the rock shot, but he gets some damage off of it despite losing it. So he breaks a shield, gets a little bit of damage. It's not bad for a rock shot. Down to 7 capsules, perhaps looking to use bravery skills at this point since we've seen the Psycho. Xanxus moves in. It looks like there is, in fact, a purple in hand, possibly his diabolical trick. We see the Psycho Knife out of Gaignun, trying to fake out the Fortress of Iron there. And we see Gaignun connect with the Excalibur. Xanxus manages to get a capsule, but he can only afford to do that one more time, as he could get knocked off by the Excalibur, and that would be game. Psychic Wall now by Gaignun, along with a yellow. Looks like he may have picked up another attack, in fact. Railgun is manualed and doesn't connect. Gaignun is hit by the Ice Sword, and that's going to be at least a capsule for Xanxus there, possibly 2. They're all aura particles, so there's not too much worth. He's just getting that much closer to a pop-out victory. Xanxus now, having seen the Railgun, Dazzle connects, and that's going to be the Railgun. No! The Crawlers connects instead of the Railgun. Gaignun somehow misses the Railgun. Tense match. Manual aims coming out of Gaignun, trying to get a hold of Xanxus, who is digging for his other flash hole that he likely has in this deck. Still has Ice Sword, still has Willow. Gaignun can block both of those fairly successfully with the Psychic Wall. Ice Sword can wrap around behind it, which could be tense. Gaignun's getting a little bit lower on life now. That Crawler's hitting was very big. Xanxus wanting to pop, but knows that he's likely to eat a Railgun if he chooses to do so. It's going to be our 3rd game, coming down to some very tense gameplay. Oh, that Dazzle almost connects. Not quite timed to perfection, but does the trick. Gaignun cartwheels the Willow. That Dazzle connects, but all it does is knock Xanxus over. Manual aims the Railgun down the lane. Xanxus retreats briefly. Going to come back up the staircase now. Still looking to manual aim that Railgun. Only needs 2 of those Willows to connect in order to finish off Gaignun. Sword cancels. Dazzle connects, but can he hit the Railgun? No, not in time. The Willow stops him. One more Willow takes Gaignun down. Railgun again isn't able to connect after the Dazzle does. There it is. There it is. There it is. Does he get the knockoff? Yes, he does. And that's game 3 to Gaignun. And yet another tense game. This series is delivering so well right now. Absolutely fantastic series. Coming down to the wire in all 3 games, with fantastic finishes. Wow. That puts us now on lane, a previously undefeated map for Xanxus. I can't recall if they did play it in their last series. Gaignun going to be looking to unseat Xanxus here. Also very comfortable himself on lane. These are both... this is a good map for both players here. And we got to see, is Xanxus able to pull this back, bring us to a game 5, or can Gaignun finally close this out? The one thing that is interesting so far is that both of these games have come down to the wire so close, 3 times in a row. Gaignun's really known for almost every series having a tie game, but we haven't had a tie game yet. So it's possible that we end up with a tie game here before the series is up, but Gaignun could close this out 3-1. Even if it's 3-1, I can't say that anybody would say that this hasn't been a super close series, even in just the first 3 games. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to lose my voice over this game, it feels like. I think Gaignun sent me a message, probably going to switch profiles. Okay. He wanted to switch a skill out real quick, so he should be back shortly. Absolutely fantastic series. Getting to witness the two best cartwheelers of the game go head to head and just ram at each other. We've seen such good technical skill, such good patience, good arsenal conservation. We've seen pop outs. We've seen last second, rolling off the map. We've seen the rail guns connecting at the last moment. It's been absolutely electric so far. Really excited to see how this goes once Gaignun pops back in here. Seems that he's having trouble. I'll send him an invite, see if that helps him out. Oh, darn it. Windows 10 a lot of times does that. Whenever I click on the screen, it just immediately starts. I'll do that so that way we don't do that again. Come on, bring up the invite. There we go. I guess he's having trouble with the lab freezing. It really shouldn't do that. It's obnoxious. If you're watching Code Mystics, please make that stop happening. Clicking the screen should not cause the game to begin. That should not be the enter button to start the game. Still having trouble rejoining. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to type a message. Okay, we're going to remake a public game. Hey, Totoro, this is going to be a tournament room. Sorry. Alright, we have Xanxus back. Again, apologize for the delay. I'm going to restart mine as well. Code Mystics, please. Excuse me. All right, we have Gaignun back in. We just need Xanxus.
In the kitchen, yeah.
Hey, Killer Mark, we are doing a 1v1 tournament match, bro.
Oh, okay, man.
Thanks, man. Oh, dear goodness. There we go. All right, players back in. Oh, the joys of connectivity in Phantom Dust. Oh, son of a bitch. Whoops. Try and keep that on. We've got one. We got one in here. Sorry, did you say something?
No, I said, I don't know what's going on.
What
The connections. Ever since he left, it's just like destroyed everything.
I know. That one skill better have been super damn important, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta say, you guys are delivering an electrifying series so far.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. That fucking, all those games, even when he cartwheeled off the stage, like that last 3 health, like, some crazy games.
All 3 of them have been absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see the rest. If Gaignun could sort his shit out. Damn it.
Yeah, it was the worst too, because my wife's like, oh, I just got back into work. That means I've got like 30 minutes, because she has to incubate some stuff, so...
Yeah, hopefully we can get this finished. It says he's in a multiplayer lobby now.
Okay.
Or no, wait, it's refreshing. I don't know.
He's inviting me.
Is he hosting then?
I guess so, I'll accept it.
You gotta be kidding me. This just straight up worked. This worked. Out of everything, this worked. Fucking... Friggin... whatever. I'm going voice chat off. Let's do this. Let's not waste any time. All right, we finally get into Game 4 on lane. For those of you who are tuning back in, hopefully you had the presence of mind to skip some of that. Got our nameplates back, and we see them already going aggressive. Reincarnation v Reincarnation. Gaignun now gets a shield, so Xanxus decided to come over to Gaignun's base. We do see a majority Kai out of Gaignun. That'll be interesting. You don't often see that unless it is Dance of Death. But we do see the Faith out of Gaignun as well, so we know his other school. We do see the green aura out of Xanxus, so we know he's of Faith nature. I'm always really interested to see these Kai decks, the ones that have majority Kai, to see what they actually run with. It's a little bit more believable with a Faith Kai because you can go pretty deep into the erase and then have like the Violent Change Diabolical Trick finish potentially. So it's not quite as mystifying when paired with Faith, but it's always interesting because in most decks, Kai is the support. It provides the dash. It provides the Tiger Strength, maybe an Aura Backflow. Or you may want it just for a couple of Lax or Dragon Slayers to help get through shields. You don't usually have majority Kai, so it's going to be interesting to see what Gaignun is going to do here with that. With that blue aura. So far we haven't seen too much, just throwing some reincarnations. The heat already on for Xanxus. Both of them have pretty healthy aura starts. It's really going to come down to the execution, which deck is able to execute the other. Looks like Xanxus is still running pretty much the same thing he's been working with, is that deck that he runs almost all the time, Turb. You know, possible slight variations of it, but the Ice Sword, Flame Sword, Lightning Sword with the 2 heats, Reincarnation, you know, some of the basics like the Turbulence. Really likes to rely on that deck. Flash holes Gaignun's reincarnation, but that does not erase it. That does give away his shield, though. Does lose his flame sword to the Angel's Wing. Angel's Wing decides to block for Gaignun. Very mercurial defense there. Exhaust doesn't connect onto Xanxus. The Angel's Wing. It's funny, just earlier I was warming Gaignun up for this and lost a match to me. Flame sword versus Angel's Wing, basically. Came down to it. He had like 5 health left. I had a couple of heats on, and that was it. Angel's Wing decided not to block for him. Angel's Wing is keeping that reincarnation at bay. That one connects, though. Good angle from Xanxus, and he does catch the Ice Sword with the Angel's Wing twice in a row. A benevolent run for Angel's Wing today. Doesn't lose his reincarnation yet, but does drop a shield. That's 2 of Xanxus' swords down. He's going to have a lightning sword yet. Looks like neutralization, trying to get some of that damage buff off. Doesn't want it to break his flash hole. I can almost guarantee he's got a flash hole. Xanxus has now picked up the orb in that deck. It's going to be real hard to neutralize through it. Is possible, but not easy. Oh, that got close there. 1 or 2 more would have done it. Xanxus is blocking with that fortress. Forced to dig right now, which is a rough situation for him. Gaignun already pretty deep into his arsenal too, but it's mostly aura, so we haven't seen the full breadth of what he's looking to bring here. Does eat another reincarnation. Xanxus still has that going for him. Xanxus looking to probably hit the lightning sword here. We're going to have to see if Angel's Wing goes 3 for 3 or if Gaignun is going to get hit by this one. Try and get a little bit closer of an angle there. Camera was slowly panning out. Needs to be careful. The manual aimed reincarnation into Sword Swing is real dirty. Gaignun playing a very slow, long con here. And he does catch it. The lightning sword is down. That is all 3 swords down for Xanxus. He's down to his reincarnation. I believe there's also a Willow in that deck. Does catch another reincarnation onto Gaignun, though. Down to 7 capsules himself. Despite being disadvantaged, having a lot of his things erased, he still has the reincarnation. And Gaignun's already been hit by it 3 times. So we'll have to see if he's able to take more advantage of that. Another attack picked up by Gaignun. Another attack now out of Xanxus. Probably the Willow. Sounds like a Willow out of Gaignun as well. Gaignun dropped his Tiger Strength? He had a Tiger Strength. Doesn't have it anymore. Xanxus is still there with the Fortress of Iron. Doesn't really want to have to block those Willows unless he has to. Just picked up another defense. That's possibly either his Flash Hole or Glacial Wall. Not willing to reveal which. Both of them are bad for Gaignun. One takes away his attack, one freezes him and leaves him vulnerable. Reincarnation thrown out, blocked by the Angel's Wing. This is a bit of a slower paced match, even more slow than some of the others. This does look like it could be the most likely of our matches to head to a draw. 2 minutes and 45 seconds remain for both players to make a significant move here. Xanxus doesn't have his Diabolical Trick in hand, but is hovering the capsules like he does. Gaignun is unfazed. Xanxus really at this point going to have to rely on the reincarnation, as long as Gaignun's timing isn't completely off. He has the Angel's Wing that can successfully block it quite easily. Reincarnation also lost to the Flash Hole, but he does break it. So that was pretty rough for Gaignun. Picks up another attack. Another reincarnation. So he's not too sad about losing that. Doesn't connect with that one. Xanxus now going for the pop. Gets a skill. Gaignun uninterested in whatever is there at his spawn. Xanxus definitely with a pressure advantage now. Another Tiger Strength picked up by Gaignun. So that'll make it a lot more expensive if Xanxus decides to try and pop him out. Gaignun seems unsure if he wants to pick that up. Looks to be a little bit more comfortable trying to force the draw. Xanxus retreats, and now that he hasn't popped out Gaignun, if he doesn't get on this soon and try and push his way through, muscle his way through the capsules, there's not going to be a pop out. At this point, he doesn't have pop pressure. This is going to be just down to if one can kill the other, which is also unlikely at this late stage of the game. With the hyper kick, but it's going to be too late. Ooh, another reincarnation could finish him off, but that's going to tick down, and that will be our tie game on game 4. And we'll be moving on to Sign, as I cannot switch the map anymore because Gaignun is host. So I will sit back and behave myself. I might even say hi to my little dog here by me. Hello there, Lucy. I've got nothing to do now, except for sit here and flap my gums. Done enough of that over the past 45 minutes. Hopefully you guys aren't tired of it yet, as that game being a little bit slower, but we've had an electrifying first 3 games. Absolutely fantastic, stupendous games. We have the best games here. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. The very best games with all the best people. And Gaignun going to be looking to close the series out. It sounds like I'm getting a message. Let me see. I don't know why he's asking if that's it. Well, let's go ahead and get underway if he's ready. This is wrong map. Gaignun making a second flub in this series. Not sure what would make Xanxus think the series was over after a draw. Let's go ahead and get underway on Sign now. See if Gaignun can close out this match. And we'll need to get rid of him. And here we go, underway. We do see a low aura start for Gaignun. Only 2 aura there. Looks like a vicious, actually. No? I guess also a 2 aura start for Xanxus. I could have sworn I saw 1 aura on him. But clearly, I was mistaken. Need to turn down my game volume a little. It's a little loud for me. And let's go ahead and see. Xanxus is already in overwrite mode. Has 2 shields. Dragon Slayer doesn't connect by Gaignun. Possibly running the same deck he ran on lane, though I have to admit I wasn't a huge fan of that. Both these players still kind of in overwrite mode. Even trade there, rock shot for flash hole. That's one I make almost every time. I'll take the rock shot for flash hole. In reverse, I tend to prefer to try and hold on to the flash hole myself, especially if I were a cartwheeler. I would want to try and hold on to the flash hole. Sign, though, has a couple of those angles. Can be a little difficult. Oh, it's another majority Kai deck, but this one with Psycho, actually. Interesting. So, different deck with Psycho. It's been a real interesting series. We've seen Xanxus use almost the same arsenal every game, I think. I don't know if he's changed it up yet. The same faith nature. But Gaignun is the complete opposite. He's a player who he doesn't even play the same arsenal after a series, usually. It gets seen in one series, and then he builds something completely new for every player he faces. So, completely different play styles there. It's very interesting to see. Somebody who relies so heavily on one arsenal versus somebody who never relies on the same arsenal. Lightning Sword doesn't connect there, nor does the Reincarnation. The Reincarnation does break the Iron Skin. That's unfortunate for Gaignun. That is a shield down that didn't have to be. Xanxus does take some fall damage as he cartwheels off the map. Doesn't pick anything up, it looks like, and he's right back on the offensive. Still with the Reincarnation and the Lightning Sword. Happy with his current hand. Aura Backflow doesn't quite get around the pillar the way Gaignun intended. We've yet to see what Xanxus' shield is. But now that he's unveiled the Aura Backflow, it's a known quantity. Almost sounded like another Iron Skin there. Cartwheels away from the Reincarnation. Gonna try and get us a better angle. That'll do for a minute. Manuals the Reincarnation, but it doesn't connect. The Aura Backflow does. Xanxus takes another 3 damage. And Iron Skin does catch the Lightning Sword. Gaignun wanting to keep up pursuit with the Aura Backflow, dodges the Reincarnation, thinks better of running into the base without any shields now that Xanxus is back at his capsules. Could be a dangerous situation. Now at +2. Gaignun is still holding on to an Armorous Watch. If he's able to get through that glacial wall, which is what I believe Xanxus has, could be real troublesome. Right there, that was almost a Aura Backflow counter. Xanxus manages to cartwheel away. Gaignun really wants to break that glacial. If you can break that, put Xanxus at -2. It's a real bad day for him. Still cartwheeling the Reincarnation. Xanxus spicing things up with the occasional manual as well. Oh, he gets the Armorous Watch in the middle of the stun almost. Oh, I guess it didn't quite go off. Oh, what a heartbreaker. He almost had that timed perfectly. Oh, he almost catches the reincarnation, but manages to cartwheel. Xanxus is starting to get a little low on capsules. Gaignun loses 2 to the turbulence, retreats back to base himself now. I don't recall what else that was. That might have been another yellow. Perhaps he had a dash. Only picks up aura. Doesn't pick up any other skills yet. Xanxus now with the 5 damage reincarnation, 2 shields. Good old trustworthy. Oh, that one does connect. That's 5 damage onto Gaignun. Nearly ties us up health-wise. Oh, that's going to be a fall-off. Right there, Gaignun now down to 12. The pressure from the reincarnation on Gaignun's base is putting in work. Still has the aura backflow, waiting for Xanxus to have enough aura there. Dazzle connects. That'll be some fall damage. That ties us up health-wise. But Xanxus, I believe, still has that glacial wall. Should be able to counter the Dazzle. Excalibur caught by the fortress. It is now down to Dazzle Railgun versus... Oh, he's got the Tiger Strength now. He should be able to break even the fortress now with the Railgun, if he's careful. It's a shame he didn't wait and do that with the Excalibur, because that would have been a much better position to be in. He breaks the glacial wall. Soon to be able to break the fortress with the railgun now. Tiger Strength railgun, very powerful. Cartwheels. Keeps himself away from the reincarnation. Doesn't break the fortress. It's blocked, but the Tiger Strength had worn off. Gaignun not amping back up when he needs to. Uses one now. Didn't even see where that railgun went. Will-o'-the-Wisp now out of Xanxus. 5 damage onto a shieldless Gaignun. Could be very difficult to deal with. Will take him 3 hits to put him down, with either the Rian or the Willow. Gaignun playing some pole dance, ring around the rosy there. Red Rover, Xanxus already came over, looking to take him down in the playground. Gaignun takes that Willow. 2 more shots, that'll do him in. Playing a very dangerous game with that Will-o'-the-Wisp. Hyper Kick doesn't connect. At some point, he overrode his aura backflow, which is also a shame, as he could have possibly utilized that to break the fortress. Down to the railgun. Dazzle doesn't connect, does manage to cartwheel the Willow. Reverse onto that Willow. Xanxus is able to keep his distance and not catch the reversed Willow. But now he doesn't have quite the same pressure as he did. Gaignun able to block, finally. Ooh, that's a 5 damage trade there. Gaignun can only make that trade one more time, but the reincarnation connecting afterwards was dirty. Xanxus says, come on at me, I can do that twice. Can you? Daring Gaignun to reverse another Willow. Ready to hit him with another one right afterwards. Keeping himself around that 7 aura mark to be able to do the Willow Rian. Oh, the Dazzle is actually cartwheeled at short range. Oh, that was the opening Gaignun needed. Oh, that's going to be it. 5 damage from the Will-o'-the-Wisp. And we are going to be going to Game 6 as Xanxus brings this to a tight tie game series. Absolutely delivering. Absolutely. As we are now back onto Palace for the next set around. Have to see what adaptations they make, if any. Is Xanxus going to continue to use just the same deck? Can Gaignun beat it this time around, as he has lost to it twice and had a tie game with it? Here we go. Alright, we see Xanxus already at 4 aura, and with his +1 damage already. Almost guaranteed to be running the same arsenals, 6th time in a row. Gaignun, we do see the nature aura out of him. Have to see what he has prepared here. And that was a nice fake out. Will-o'-the-wisp, manual down, and Xanxus putting the hurt onto Gaignun with the lightning sword and the Will-o'-the-wisp. 8 health down just like that in the series. Will-o'-the-wisp still looking to connect. That's Gaignun's own lightning sword. Managed to get his own 4 damage out of it and take Xanxus' shield. Good counter. And there's the Armoros Watch. So Faith Nature also out of Gaignun. Xanxus will eventually be able to even that out once he finds his second heat. We'll have to see how lucky he is, whether he gets it soon or if he has to fight at -2 for a good long time. Crawlers now coming out of Gaignun. Xanxus doesn't seem willing to block it right now. And I do believe the Fortress caught that lightning sword. So that's an attack down for Xanxus. Gaignun has the pressure advantage right now. Manages to get the Will-o'-the-wisp without catching the reincarnation in the face. Very good technical play there. Xanxus manages to stay away from that Crawlers. I'm going to guess out of the shields he runs in this arsenal. Oh, he accidentally diabolical tricks right in Gaignun's face, but it's not capitalized on. I'm going to say he's got the glacial wall. That's why he doesn't want to break the Crawlers onto it. He would gladly flash hole it, I'm assuming, or use Fortress if he had to. But it's almost guaranteed to be the glacial wall there. That Crawlers does turn around, and Gaignun manages to trade the damage back. 2 for 3. Reincarnation into the Flame Sword. Okay, Xanxus did have the flash hole, decides to flash hole against the Crawlers there. Gaignun retreats back to base. Picks up an aura particle and another attack. Xanxus has another shield now. Still at -2, 11 capsules remaining, yet to find that second heat to bring himself back stabilized. Does have the glacial wall now, so Gaignun not having an answer for that yet with the reincarnation and the flame sword. Does take 2 damage from that reincarnation, doesn't correctly cartwheel it. 8 to 3 in health. Xanxus still digging here. Twister doesn't manage to go down the lane. Twice. Gets caught on the overhead there. That one does. Diabolical trick comes out of Xanxus, but it is punished with the flame sword. Gets a skill. Gaignun now giving chase with that whirlwind, twister, rather. Knows that will get over the... But now he has the fortress there, but he does get another flame sword down. We're getting real low on health for both of these players here in this game. Unlikely to see a tie game. A diabolical trick out of Xanxus. Both of them trading back and forth with damage abilities. Very unlikely to see the tie game. Cartwheels and then uses the wall to defend against the second reincarnation. Very tight play out of Gaignun there. We've got 5 minutes remaining. Very little health remaining on both players. About a third left to each. 6 versus 7. -1 damage for Xanxus has been really crippling. Now looking to fake out Gaignun around his capsules, make him think he's going to pop. Likely going to try and catch Ice Sword, Flame Sword. And as soon as he tries to manual the reincarnation, Gaignun reads it and slaps him right in the face. He says, "I've read your playbook and I'm unimpressed." Xanxus retreats back to base. Down to 6 capsules remaining. Still looking for that heat. Has a purple in hand, which is the diabolical trick. 2 attacks. Seen the reincarnation, possibly an ice sword or flame sword in hand at this point. Maybe even a willow. Gaignun still holding onto the fortress and I believe a flash hole. Xanxus continuing to overwrite. Gaignun manualing his way with the flame sword, trying to get some more aura down out of Xanxus. With that Armoros, though, it gives him that slight boon in the regen, and the aura differential 12 to 9 is not going to let Gaignun to get through that with manual aims. And he finally manages to even himself out with only 3 capsules remaining. This would be a great time now that he forced him to dig. If you had a violent change, this would be the time to use it. And the Ice Sword does connect. 4 to 4. Xanxus looks like he wants to go pop capsules, but then, stutter steps back. Gets 1. Not sure how impactful that's going to be at this point. Gaignun still has enough capsules that it'd be pretty tough for him to get through it. Can't really afford to face tank any more damage while trying to get it. Oh, and he gets the flame sword, but not the ice sword. Gaignun in kill range now with the ice sword, and he connects with the last one, and that's a 3-2-1 victory for Gaignun in one of the closest series of Phantom Dust I've ever seen. What a match. I can't help but be impressed every time we watch these players play. And I can't wait until the next one, honestly. Possibly in the tag team tournament finals or the next 1v1 tournament. But that will do it for today's matches. Gaignun takes a nail-biting series 3-2-1 against totally differing playstyles. One player using the exact same arsenal every round, while the other plays a whole new arsenal for every series he plays. What a series, and thanks for tuning in. We'll have you guys around next time. Gaignun will be moving into the semifinals. He will face either Esper 51 or Evolution after their match concludes later tonight.